reporter. Today I'm going to show you how to make strawberry freezer jam. Right now, berries like strawberries and blackberries are in season and they're perfect for making jams like this one. This is a super easy recipe and only requires 4 ingredients. I have my strawberries, which are already destemmed, washed, and drained. I have my sugar, powdered pectin, and water. To begin, all we're going to do is put these strawberries, a few at a time, in a shallow dish, and I'm going to use my chopper to chop up these berries. You can use a food processor to do this step, but I like to have chunks of berries in my jam. Once I have these nice and chopped, I'll use a potato masher to finish mashing them. I'm finishing up my berries with this potato masher, and as you can see, they're just about the perfect consistency. So for the next step, I've already measured out 2 cups of my prepared berries and 4 cups of sugar. And I like to use name brand sugar because it results in a better tasting jam. Also, I use a dry measuring cup to measure my sugar because liquid and dry measuring cups are not quite the same measurements. So to do this, I'm just going to add my berries to the bowl, and then I'll add my sugar, and I'll mix it up. Now with this recipe, it's important to make sure your measurements are exact, otherwise your jam might not set right. And so once I get this mixed up, I'll let it sit for 20 minutes, stirring it occasionally. I've mixed a cup of water with a package of pectin, and I mixed them together, and now I put them on the stove top and brought them to a boil. So once it hit a boil, I set a timer for 1 minute, and now I'm stirring it constantly until my timer goes off. Now remember, if you're doing this alone, make sure you have an adult supervise you. Alright, there's our timer. And now I'm going to bring it over here to our strawberries that have been sitting for 20 minutes, and I'm going to add it slowly. Now be careful because this is very hot. Alright, now I'm going to stir this carefully. And I'm going to stir it constantly for 2 minutes. I've stirred my mixture for 2 minutes, and now it's time to fill your jars. I'm using these plastic containers, but you can also use glass jars. And you just use a ladle and carefully pour it in. And you leave a 1/2 inch of headspace at the top. Now once you've filled them, you put on a lid and you let it sit out on the counter at room temperature for 24 hours. This recipe of freezer jam made just over 4 8-ounce containers. Now these I'll go ahead and store in the freezer after they've set out for 24 hours, and they'll stay good for around a year. Once I take them out of the freezer, I'll store them in the refrigerator, but I'll make sure to use them within a few days so they don't start growing mold. This one, after I leave it out for 24 hours, I'll store it in the refrigerator, and it will stay good for around 3 weeks. Now that we've finished, I'm ready to try this. It's already starting to set up, and it just looks so good. It's very good. Now this is a very simple recipe that anybody can try, and I can't wait to see what creations you make.